What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Mindset Monday, episode 2, with Alex Corral, the CEO of Cabinet Coating Kings in Orlando, bringing mindset to the table, guys. Again, I always say this: you cannot be a strong business leader if you don't take time to process and reflect what's going on in your brain space. Okay, this is an area that I have focused on for over 10 years. Personal development books, listening to the greats, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Miles Monroe. These are foundational leaders in terms of self-help motivation. I'm sure you have your own list as well. For some of you, this is nothing new. For some of you, this is new. This is a different area. It's a muscle that needs to be flexed, right? Again, on here, we talk about administration, sales, marketing, production. It would be super naive for me to not discuss mindset, personal development, motivation, because as business owners, we have so many ups and downs. Some of us battle depression, anxiety, stress, all of the above. Some of us have a past where maybe we used other things to cope with these mechanisms. And what's interesting is that our mind can be molded. And Alex is one of my very best friends, and he helps me cope with some things through just helping me see different perspectives. And I thought, you know what, I need to get this guy's voice out. I think you guys are going to really enjoy these episodes as they continue. And today we're talking about Alex's favorite word, Boom-Nominalism. And it's a really, I don't know where he came up with it, but it sticks, and you can't help but smile when you hear it. So Alex is going to bring it today on Mindset Monday, episode 2. Thank you guys for listening. Please share this with a friend, share this with a colleague. Let's all grow together. And as always, I just appreciate all of your time that you spend listening to these, and it just means a lot. So thanks so much. It starts right now. The big question you need to ask yourself every day is, do I own a job or do I own a business? And unfortunately, the majority of contractors out there own a job. That's right, they're a slave to their own business. But the other side of the fence is so much greener, it's so much better, and that's when you're finally fully in control of your destiny, your freedom, your time. And that's what Contractor Secrets is about. It's about taking back our time, building a business with systems, standards, values, procedures, putting yourself in the driver's seat. And that's what it's about. So I'm excited. I'm happy to have you here. Let's dive into the Contractor Secrets podcast. All right, what's going on, everyone? Back with Alex, Mindset Monday, episode 2. Today, I want to let Alex really just drive the car. I think there's a lot of things that you can bring to the table. A lot of great feedback on the first episode. Really just want to touch base on some of the things some of the devices that you're using to keep your mind right. And I think if you really think about it, mindset has so much to do with closing business, the belief in yourself to transition from opportunity to sale, or get someone to transition to and from. So, it's one of those things I wanted to touch base on. I think you just left a job, or a potential a new job. You just closed the deal. So tell us about what your week's looking like, man. Tell us about how the business is going and some of the things that you.
Yeah, so it's been a phenomenal day. Like I'm gonna actually segment from what we were talking about last week to what happened this week. Remember last week, Tanner, I was telling you how, my leads were a little low. I was getting between 4 and 6 jobs a week, which I'm used to, like probably like 7 to 8 jobs a week. And I was like, and what I did to myself, I remember I was saying I visualize myself getting 20 jobs a week. I put myself at a higher frequency. I don't sit in the scarcity and the fear of not getting jobs. I elevate to already seeing that I have a plethora of jobs and an abundance of jobs. And then, I manifest that with action because I believe it so much. My body, my mind will put the action in to, do the best it can to bring me this manifestation. So listen to this. This week, I went from last week getting 4 to 5 jobs. Guess how many I got? Guess what number today was?
What number?
12. 12. And 2 weeks ago, I started
12 jobs. Wait, so you sold 12 jobs from Monday to today?
Yeah, just starting right now. And I still have the weekend. So and I'm still open to getting all 20. Who knows? But I'm open to it. I'm energetic to it. I'm allowing it to come to me. I call
So
the
what's
customers.
interesting
I've
is
been
though,
doing a little more.
let me talk about that for a second, because what's interesting is you went through a trial, a dip in your graph, right? I mean, you have this par that sustains your business. This isn't, these aren't vanity numbers. You need to hit a certain amount of jobs in a week to keep everyone busy. You hit a number way lower than what you expected. Some fear started to creep in. I heard it in your voice briefly, not long term. It was just natural of, 4 jobs are coming. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the economy, maybe it's this. And then you kind of realigned, said, hold on a second. That's not how we're going to operate. Jump back up. You started hitting your affirmations, hitting some things in terms of positive mindset, understanding that it's all up to you. You can attract that. And now you're at 12 jobs for the week.
12 jobs for the week, filled up all my gaps. At booking, I do 6 to 8 jobs a week, booking out to about second week of May now. So going from a scarcity point for a second and saying, no, that's not how my life operates. My reality loop is love, abundance, and high wisdom, or, godly wisdom. So that's where I operate from. Now I have an equation that I brought to the table today where it equals Boom-Nominalism. I talked about that last episode. That's my own, fun lifestyle. Remember, that equals the highest frequency, highest energy, highest vibrancy that you can be at. Don't compare yourself to someone else who's been living that lifestyle. No, you every second that you can be aware of your energy. Always tell yourself, how can I be a little more positive? How can I be a little more energetic? How can I vibe and have this frequency where phenomenal things are coming to me? All right. So that's a practice. A lot of people don't talk about this because it's kind of like, was this guy a little crazy over here? But look, I'm bringing proof. 2 weeks ago, I started visualizing 20 jobs. It's 12 already this week.
What's interesting though is that, we know about the reticular activating system, right? We know that there's some physiology at play here when it comes to visualizing these things, to where you are going to set your sights on it, and we have this powerful tool in our brains that will attract those things that we focus on. And that could also work in a negative way. Tell us about how you think it could work in a negative way, in a sense that maybe somebody goes through that dip 4 jobs or whatever less than their par is. Maybe their par is only 2 jobs and they sold no jobs for the week, and they're starting to see that pipeline start to close in, right? Jobs aren't coming in, and instead of visualizing maybe 4 or 6 jobs of what it is that they need to do to get things back in order, maybe they start to cave in. Maybe they start to think, man, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know how I'm going to find work. And they start taking on random things and start putting their employees in positions that they shouldn't be in, doing jobs that they're not the best at, just to keep things going. I mean, can it work in a negative way just as strong as it can work in a positive way?
100%, 100%. So before I started going towards the lower end of my jobs, the 4 to 6, which is great for some people, but like I do 6 to 8 jobs a week. So I would say what I like every week is a minimum of like around 7, right? So I'm always going a week out. I was letting the, society affect me, like with the war and with, I was I was going to talk about this. I was getting complacent with the business. It was getting so easy for me to get jobs. I stopped calling my leads. I would just send them texts like, my business is so well branded. I could get jobs from texting, giving them a quote, and then if they agree to that number, I'll go to their house. So I took my fortuitous business for granted. And you know what? I think the universe and God sent me that message. Like, you got something special. Your clients deserve something better. Just because you've created something great where you can, attract people doesn't mean you get to be less of a phenomenal person to them. Right. So the last 2 weeks that I've been calling, I've been helping them over the phone. I would say just from being disciplined and making the phone calls and being me and being that extra high vibrancy, frequency, energy with these people, 5 of these jobs I got this week is because I called right away, set the appointments right away, spoke to them over the phone, and I went out there. I know if I would have just sent text messages to about 5 of these people, they wouldn't have had me come out to their house because they just get these low ball quotes from other people and they don't know, I call myself Mr. Boom Nominal. And it's not, I'm bragging. It's just like, that's Mr. Boom Nominal. You could use it too. It's the best person you could be at every second of every day. Okay.
So when you
So
enter the
that's
house, so when you enter the house, you're bringing all that with you on top of the service they provide, the value that they offer. But the third tier of this is you, what you're conveying to the customer. You're exuding trust, confidence. You're exuding boom nominalism to this customer. And in other words, and I know this too firsthand, is like your goal is to give them a very, very hard choice to choose someone else. Because if they do, they know that they're not getting what you're bringing to the table. The intangibles that what you offer, in my opinion, far exceed the tangible. They know they're getting their cabinets painted. Great. Someone else can do it. Maybe your standard is high, and I know that there's someone else around you that has just as high as a standard. So what you're doing to separate yourself starts with the conversations you
the
have to
phone
yourself.
call.
The
Yeah,
phone call, right? But you humbled yourself though, right?
I
Initially it was
did.
like companies booming. These people are, these
They're
people
lucky for
need
me to
me.
go out there,
Right.
like
Right. These
instead of
people
being like,
need
I'm
me
lucky for
more
them
than,
to call me.
yeah. I'm lucky. They're lucky if I call them, right? They're lucky if I make my way out there. And it's like, hold on a second, dude. Your each game needs to be played as if it's the game. It's like, you look at sports teams that have the highest standard, Alabama, the Patriots. Those are the two teams that come to mind in my mind. And it's like, they're a constant target every single week. That's the big game that's circled on their schedule. And you know what? On their schedule, they have games that are trash games, right? I don't know. They play Crest. They play, Columbia University, right? These little trash games. But if they turn down the gas on these games, sometimes you'll see, not maybe these teams, but sometimes you'll see that they're in for a rude awakening, right? So it's like the standard needs to stay high in any case with every
So
interaction
let
because you
me
never
let
know
me
what it could mean.
interject real quick while I have this in my head. So you just hit it on the button. So let me throw this out there. Jerry Rice, one of the best receivers in the ever, right? When he would always go to spring training with the rookies, and he would every catch, even if it was at the 5-yard line on the opposite side of the field, would catch it and sprint to the end zone. This is spring training with rookies. A rookie would ask him, why do you do that? Like, what's the point? He goes, I'm training my body to score a touchdown every time I touch the ball. So in life, I made this thing boom nominalism because I'm looking at life as a practice. When I get a curveball thrown at me or a job appointment I don't think is going to be great, I use it as a practice. I'm like, oh, right now my frequency's going lower, like saying this doesn't matter, this is pissing me off, this is stressing me out. And then I switch in my brain on and saying, hey, this is a perfect practice for what you're doing in life. Let's amp it up. Let's take this as, a phenomenal opportunity to change your mindset right now. Because everything you do, so every appointment, if you start going to appointments at a low frequency, now your body's getting trained to start doing that. So even when you get a good one, you're gonna be like, why am I not pumped? So every day you got to train yourself to be pumped with doing whatever life brings at you. And then you got to be disciplined. So here's my equation, right? It's belief. If you don't believe you can do it, there's no passion behind it. Right? Motivation is one thing. You might be motivated one day, but the next day you're like, I don't really feel like getting up and doing that. I don't want to call them today. So it's, you got to have discipline along with the belief and the passion. All right. Because the discipline, I call it, self-love, or for anyone who doesn't like those two words, we could call it grab your balls and fucking man up. Sorry for the F word there, but we got contractors here, so
You can
there's many
always
F
count on
bombs
you to
going
throw one
on
in
out
there.
there. Yeah. I get excited. What do you want me to do over there? You know what I'm saying? Anyways, so So that's one thing. You got the belief is the spiritual, the faith side. Then you got to have the discipline, this reality side of, I'm going to do this no matter what, so that your body gets used to it. And it's like, all right, he's going to do this no matter what. We might as well man up and help him out, because your body has an autopilot. So what you act like every day, it turns into an autopilot. So to level up in life, to get better in life, to get a higher energy in life, to do anything better in life after a certain age, you have to will it. You got to have such a passion, such a belief that it doesn't matter what your body, mind says. You are so aware that you want this thing and you go for it. Even on those days where you're like, nothing's working, you just level up your energy a little bit. And that's the best day of the week, because you overtook your autopilot, which is one of the hardest things that no one talks about, because your behaviors, your disciplines are addictions, and no one realizes that. So it's very difficult if you don't have this belief or passion to overcome. So you got to know these things. So you're like, all right, this is just my autopilot. I'm going to think above it. And I understand my body and my mind might not want to do it, but I'm going to do it until I train my mind. That's why I grab your balls and let's go. And then the other end of it is, your body will then start doing the action. So it's plus action, right? So it's belief plus discipline plus action, but the action doesn't need to be forced at the end. Once you make this behavior, it's more of a love, you're excited to do these things when you go at it with a phenomenal mindset. If you start the journey with a bad mindset, the finish of the journey is going to be at a low frequency. So it's not going to work out. You got to start it high, continue at a delusional level throughout the whole thing, like I did with my 20 jobs, right? And then you finish high. And then the next week you keep going, and then these things just start coming because you change the inside of your energy, frequency, and vibrancy, which is now attracting all the best that you can in your life. And if you keep that consistent, you will keep attracting better and better and better. But you got to understand the journey is difficult. Hello? Oh, the journey's difficult if you don't put the belief into it. And once you believe and you have the faith and you have the discipline, and then the action just comes. I mean, look, me and Tanner 5 years ago, night and day where we're at right now. The only reason we're here is because we believed in ourselves. All right, we're no different than anyone else. Okay. Myself, bro, I mean, if I could get here, ask Tanner, anyone could fucking do it. And sorry with the S-Bob again. That's when I get passionate.
But the belief though is the strongest aspect, right? There was a point in time, where I was working at a bank, and the idea of starting a painting business was tremendously scary to me. I just had no clue what it is or who would buy it, or even going into people's homes and trying to sell it. And I think, how hard would this be? And it was just, the belief is so important, that it's almost like delusional in a sense, that you have to overcome what your mind is telling you, because there's so much negative around you, not only what you tell yourself, but what the people around you tell you. But what's interesting about what you're saying is that the belief is so strong in you, or it was so strong for you in the beginning, is that you never stopped that belief when it came to growing. And I think one of the big mistakes a lot of people make when it comes to growth is the biggest risk that they make is starting their business, and they get into it, and it was a huge risk. They convinced their significant other that they wanted to do it. They're doing it. They're making some money. It's working. But then, like, to grow the business, hiring, spending more on marketing, getting out there, they stop. They don't do it because it's scary to hire people to be on top of the business, in a sense, as the CEO rather than, the actual painter, and it's like one of those things. It's like, you already took the risk and you saw the result. You got to ride the momentum of that progress. And I think that's what you're doing. You're still riding the momentum of when you first started your business. And that's what's interesting is that the people around you feel that. And it's almost like they have no choice but to grow along with you. And it's inspiring. And it's inspiring not only to your teammates who see you every day at such a high level and see how you balance the ups and downs, the ebbs and flow of business. And then and then not only that, your customers feel that. They feel as though they're on a momentous wave with you. It's just like, oh, he's got it. Trust, 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 trust. Pay the money. I don't have to worry about it. It's going to be done the right way on time. And I can rely on this guy to make sure it gets done. And it's like one of those things that you're building that in your quiet time. You're building that in the
Yep.
car when you're driving. You're
Yep.
building that at nighttime when you're just laying there thinking about all the uncertainty that we all think about. We think about the uncertainty. We think about what happens if we don't have jobs. We think about how hard it would be to fire somebody or let someone go. We think about if the quality isn't there. We think about all these things, but we show up. And some people show up in a way that doesn't exude what they want. They show up in a way that exudes how they felt. And you show up in a way that exudes what you want. And that's interesting
It's
because it
what I
doesn't exist
desire.
until you
So
create it.
I try not to want it. I try to already know I have it. So like if you kind of go in it like you want it, you kind of have the energy of you don't have it and it might not ever come. So you kind of gotta, it's a slippery slope. It's something you gotta practice. It's like you gotta know it's coming. Like with my business and growing it, dude, I don't even care about money. Like I'll spend whatever needs to happen to like, but obviously in a controlled manner, but I'm not like, oh no, I didn't make this much, or oh, that's gonna cost this like $1,000. I'm like, whatever, let's just get it. Let's go. The money's coming. Let's make sure everything's good. No cheapness here. We're gonna make it happen. A lot of things I hear from contractors, oh, I can't find anyone as good as me. Listen, I started my business with one guy. Within 6 months, I had 6 crews going out there. I did fire half of people, revamped it. I have 7 amazing crews. And it's because I believed in them and they've become the best. Like they weren't the best in the beginning, but I believed in them and I let them make mistakes and I trained them. I showed them love. I'm like, you got it. They just needed to show me I could trust them. They just needed to show me, hey, I see the heart in this guy and he's going to become phenomenal. And that's what happened. And you got to believe that you're going to get the crews. You got to believe, you got to get out of your own way. You know, that's a big problem. Like literally whatever you believe, you're going to attract. All right. So that's why I always preach highest frequency, highest vibrancy, highest energy, because that's what this world is and that you will attract it. Look, when you're in a bad mood and someone calls and triggers you a little bit, that conversation could go way worse than if you're aware and on a higher mindset and you're like, no, we're not going to go there with this person. I'm not going to let them take
How
my
often does
power
that
away from
happen
me.
in your business? You have so many moving parts. There's clearly
Oh
times where
my
people mess
God,
up or
bro. Like
disappoint you. And wait,
nonstop.
and the initial reaction is you want to blow up, right? Like, how could you? What do you mean? Why didn't you follow and it's like, I think, you do a really good job of staying grounded with your team in a sense that like, what the end result will be if you come with aggression or anger. It's just one of those things. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I would say the team's very good. They understand me very well and they understand what they need to do. So I wouldn't say they bring too much to the table. Obviously I have a good amount of guys. So yeah, I give them pep talks here and there, but I would say they're phenomenal and, I don't have to worry too much. I know they have a great mindset and they'll be able to figure stuff out. It's more the customers, some thinking, some being condescending, some just having these expectations that are out of this world. I stay calm with them. I understand that's them. Everyone in this whole world is living in their own world. Everyone has their own beliefs. Everyone has their own tendencies. So you gotta, as a aware person, that's what being aware is knowing everyone is their own individual self and to let everyone be them. I'm not going to change this person. So I'm very calm with them on the phone. I'm empathetic. I don't let them cross a line with me. I definitely let them know I have this line and just, stay right behind it. But I help them and that's all they want. A lot of the times now in this contractor field, people are jerks. So people get scared and they don't think you're going to help them, and after I help them, they're super nice, like it totally changes, but people are so used to getting taken advantage of in this world. I try to be the light that's like, look, I'm going to help you out even though you're being a jerk. to show you there's phenomenal people in this world and that this is how this world should operate.
Love it. Love it. I think there's a lot there, man. And I also think that, you're bringing a certain mindset that I think we all need to adjust to and adopt to, because in any case, there's negative always around us. It doesn't go away. And it's like, you need to stand. I love Jim Rohn's statement. You got to stand guard at the door of your mind. And I think if you do
Oh
that
yeah.
every day as a leader in this business, you need these tools, these spiritual tools, these, the positivity, the mindset, man. You need this to survive in business. Give us one last thing to focus on for the next week, man. We're gonna close out. What do you
Well,
got for us?
you just said it. You got to be the guardian of your mind. That's very, people don't practice meditation. People don't practice being self-aware. Like, we just go in a reality loop of our own thoughts over and over and over, and the same shit happens every day. Being a guardian of your mind is, going through the shit of elevating yourself, because when you elevate yourself, your life changes, and a lot of the things that were on a lower frequency before will go away from your life. Sometimes that might hurt you. Sometimes you're like, how that's not, I can't do that. I can't change. I can't elevate myself because these people don't like me anymore. My group of friends don't like me. When you elevate, you're going to lose people, but you're going to gain greater people. You're going to lose certain things you did in your life that weren't helping you, but you're going to gain other things that are even better for you. So you got to be okay with disciplining yourself. You take care of yourself, make yourself better. Don't be selfish and do stupid things where you're being selfish and a jerk. No, be selfless to make yourself the best person you could be, so that you're not jealous. You're not at these low frequencies where you're not grateful for things, and you're not wanting to be the best for others, even though they're not at their best selves. So I would say the last thing to do is always be on your highest frequency, vibrancy, and energy in the most positive way, because you can look in this world, this society feeds you negativity, but if you're the one that could block it and have an aura of positivity and think of the good stuff and and envision the things how you want to live, but still go through the reality that you created already, because everything you're going through right now is through your own actions and thoughts and everything you've created to this point. There's going to be like a 2-3 month span where things are going to still come from that time frame. But when you get through that and keep a high vision through like this reality not having those things intact, you come through that after that 3 months, through a door of a whole new world, and it's phenomenal. But you got to believe it. You got to stand still. You got to be strong. You got to grab your balls and go, and you just got to know it's going to happen. If you don't believe it, it will not happen. No matter how hard you try, it won't happen. 0%. I'll tell you that right now. You got to let go of all your other thoughts and just be like blank in your brain and let these new thoughts in. Let yourself create something new with new actions. So it's a fun game if you could take life as a practice, and know you gotta get your mind right, because once your mind's right, you'll be able to do anything you want. Once you discipline yourself, then you can have the workers that you can discipline and make great. Unless you make yourself great, you can't have great people around you. No one wants to be around someone who's not elevating them. There's no purpose there anymore, right?
Some do, but the
So
people that you want in your business want to be around growth, and it's like you got to be the
yeah,
catalyst, the leader for it.
that
You got to be the
exactly.
person leading the charge. You are the leader, and you've got to really be mindful of that, man. I love it as always. Thank you, brother. We're gonna catch up
Yeah.
again. Number 3 coming up next week, and we appreciate having you, man.
Boom, 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 boom. Nominal.
And
Remember, boom
now,
nominal
Alex,
equals highest
and by the
frequency,
way, if you
vibrancy,
wait,
energy.
hold on. Alex would be happy to do a one-on-one with you. If you want to meet, if you want to chat with him, you can find Alex on Instagram. He has his Cabinet Coding Kings, and I think you had a personal Instagram, but I'm going to link it in the bio. If you want to reach out to Alex, you want a one-on-one, I'm sure he'd be happy to help you out.
You guys are phenomenal. You just got to believe it.
Love it. All right, man. We'll talk soon.
All right, peace.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Contractor Secrets podcast and today's Mindset Monday. Now, if you want to stick around, I got an awesome Dripjobs testimonial coming up for you next. So if you're on the fence about Dripjobs, maybe you have some questions about how it works or if it can work for you, hey, stick around. I have an awesome Dripjobs client ready to share with you how it's working for them. So if you want to stick around, that's coming up right now.
What's up, everyone? I'm here with Justina and Jordan of the Busy Bees. They've been so gracious to share a few minutes of their day to tell you guys how awesome Dripjobs is for their business. And I just kind of want to start off with, what were some of the things when we first started out that you were a little bit concerned about with adopting a new software? Because that's a big hurdle for a lot of companies.
For me, for a long time, for many years, it was just me and one other person, but I wanted to scale the business and grow it. And I knew I needed something that was more complex where we could keep everything in certain areas, like just communication wise. So as a problem solver, I started thinking, looking out there, different programs, and I had tried a couple and it didn't work. And then I had followed you with, certain things that you've done over the years. And then somehow I ran across Dripjobs, and then I realized it was you, and I was like, what are the odds of that? So
that's so funny.
It was specifically tailored to a painting business, which obviously is what we are. And the other programs didn't specifically tailor to what I needed. So that was ultimately, it was like a done deal. And
how's it working for you? I mean, how's it working for you? I mean, a lot of people are skeptical about automation, when it comes to automation. Do you feel like it's saving you guys a lot of time?
It is, for sure. The automation helps definitely. I like that we can tailor it, specifically to what we need to say. If we need to edit things, we're allowed, to do that, to go in there to make it easier. Because some businesses are different, and with that accommodation, we can just tailor it to our customers, and it's working. The biggest thing I feel like that's helped us is that appointment booking link. So as a business owner, again, like trying to problem solve, trying to save money, time. We've just been making sure to send that booking link out every time we contact a customer, even if it's
customers adopting well to that.
Oh yeah, they love it, because a lot of people this day and age don't have time to call, maybe don't want to call, and it might, I think that it's helping us get more jobs. And ultimately, it just shows the customer that we mean business. Really, here's the calendar, and I like the fact though for that the booking link on Dripjobs, because they get to tell us what their availability is. So there's, and we can plug that in based on our schedule. Whereas other calendar booking apps, like I didn't feel like it worked as well for my personal business and my
It's funny. People never know when they can do an estimate when they call you. They have to be like, all right, well, hold on, let me look at my calendar. It's like, did you not expect me to ask you? So, so it's funny that, you send them the link. Jordan, let me ask you, I mean, how's it been for you kind of just being able for Justine to pass the ball to you, having the software as your central spot to jump in? You guys are huge on notes, right? So you're the reason we put the notes. Justina, wait, first, let me put these two are like my sidekicks, because they're like my eyes. And every day or every other day, I get a message like, change this, tweak this. And I love it. I don't take it personal. I really do.
Little thing going
and then I'm like, hey, surprise.
Exactly.
Like, hey, surprise, we put this here for you guys. Tell me what you think. So you're the reason we put the notes section in the deal command center where you guys can easily see that. And so what do you guys think about that? Is that instead of like that other step, you guys like that?
It's so much more streamlined doing it that way, because we can, instead of having to click to the notes section to read the notes, it's right there. It's like, okay, scroll right there. And we go to what we need to go to next.
We can also correct me if I'm wrong, we can copy and paste emails or any other.
Yes, very true.
And then the attachments, if there's text
soon we'll integrate your emails.
Yeah. No, it's been a godsend. Like, I'm on the field a lot. I'm a go girl. So Jordan and Kimberly as well, obviously. I throw things to them. So if I run across something in Drip, I'm like, that's not right. I'm like, send it over to Tan, but
like
Jordan
I try to figure it out before. I'm like, well, we got to do this. I'm like, but we shouldn't have to go through like 1,000 steps. I'm like, let me message Tanner and his team, see what they say. If there's an easier way to do it that we're just not catching on to.
Our mission statement, we want to be an extension of your business. And I think like that's our focus. We're not perfect, but what business is,
We can tell you're really trying though. And I appreciate, the intercom, because you guys, even on off hours, are getting back to us, and you don't have to do that, and we just want, ultimately, we're problem solvers. That's at the end of the day. There's going to be things that come up that we have zero control over. There's going to be glitches.
Yeah.
Just like our business, there's going to be bumps in the road, you know, programming wise, there's probably more.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're being
Oh,
able to work
bumps,
with us, you know, it's
bugs.
been awesome. And I, you know,
Bumps
I
and
just love
bugs.
to, yeah, I love to see how things are progressing, you know, with the
Yeah.
program itself, and we're utilizing everything that we can. So,
You like the new
you know.
proposal look, Justina? Did you see
Yeah, I
that?
do. Yep. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Did
Yeah.
you
I
see
was
that
like,
your
oh, look,
review
new
link and
button.
oh, new button. You got a new button.
Yeah.
You got
Yep.
your review links populating in there.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys sell the jobs on the spot, or do you like to email the quote when
If I can sell it on the spot, I do. Like yesterday, I had somebody
Yeah,
that
you
went in
just
and
signed
signed,
it,
and they
Okay.
gave me check.
The
So I was
deposit
like,
was great.
Nice. Did you
He was
so
like,
you
"Do
did
this,"
you
I'm
have
like,
them
"Got it."
sign on like the iPad? Like
Yep,
how did that
sure
work?
did.
Did they sign?
They loved
They
it.
signed on
They
the
were like,
iPad.
they were
Nice.
blown away by all the technology.
Like,
I'm like, I
don't
know.
worry, I normally
Yes.
sign it a lot neater.
Yep, exactly. I'm like, it's
That's
okay.
so
Mine
funny.
looks
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's been
That's
great.
cool.
I'm really excited for
Yeah.
the future. I think given, you know, where I was in my business, it was a good step to take on at that time because it was our downtime.
Yeah.
You know, winter, you're a little
So we were
slower.
learning.
So we learned a lot of it while we had the time, and I'm grateful
Yeah.
for that.
And now
because
you're
it's-
just full speed. You know,
yeah,
you guys are moving.
exactly.
Yeah.
And there's hundreds of customers, so we need drips to help
Yes.
I
us.
know. How many customers do you guys think you'll serve this year?
Ooh.
I don't know. The projection based on numbers is, you know, it's going to be great. I mean, I'm really excited. It took 20 years to get to this point, but it's all about
Amazing.
teamwork, problem solving,
Yeah.
and just making sure you try to have a good attitude while you're doing it.
I love that. I
Having a
love
team.
that. So I
Yeah,
can't thank
team,
you guys
team.
enough. Keep it coming, the teamwork, the camaraderie. You know, you guys
absolutely.
are awesome.
Hopefully next
well,
time we
thanks
touch
again.
base, we can give you some more tips.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know they're coming. They're coming.
I
And
appreciate it.
oh, by the way, we're fixing that word in there. That originally thing. That thing is stuck out to me.
Yes.
Was that you guys with the hand signed signature? So little things like that, you know, matter. You
Yeah.
know, I can't. I
Yeah.
study this software so much. It's almost like when you guys paint a house, right? And I
Yeah.
paint too, so I know both sides. But when you guys paint a house, you're in that house all day, and then the customer will be like, "Hey, you
I
forgot
know,
something."
it's
You're
so
like,
true.
how did I not see that?
Yeah, so
You
great.
know? Yeah.
I totally get that
So-
because I'm a painter too, so it
So-
makes total sense.
Yeah. Like, yeah, all right, we're packing up, but what about that? I'm
Okay.
like, how did I walk by that, 8 times
Yeah.
and not see it?
Yeah.
You know, keep
Once
it
you
coming.
stare
Thank
at
you
something for too long, you don't always see it. So you take a step back and you come back and you're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
there it is.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's funny, and that's been there for a while, so it's good. So thank you guys, of course.
You're
you know, I
welcome. Thanks,
appreciate you.
Tanner.
Get back to doing what you guys rock at. We'll see you soon, and
Sounds good.
maybe we'll do this again sometime.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Take
We're up
care.
for it.
Bye,
All right,
Tanner.
thank you.